I'd fire myself. So I definitely don't want people to be working overnight. So that's never going to be a thing. More than an 8-hour day, you're never going to have to work. I know that for a fact. People are often overworked in the food industry. Like you hear about 12, 15-hour days. I know you were talking to Michael, and he had 15-hour days over at Bruto, right?
Oh, yeah, De Leon?
Yeah.
Ruiz. Dude, chef over there, he kills it, though.
That's what I've heard. I need to get over there and try it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that support.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But it's really, really tough. And then as a baker, you're working at 3 o'clock in the morning. So having to work from 3 o'clock in the morning to 5 at night would not be a fun day.
No, I wouldn't want to sign up. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I'm kind of in that way where I think it would be great to kind of knock your work, like your day out early, and so when I get fired, I'm inevitably getting laid off from my job. But when that happens, I will gladly come work like that 5 a.m. wave and work through the morning. Because when you are busy, it does make the time pass a little longer. But to be honest, 3 a.m. is going to be so difficult with my everyday lifestyle. But 5 is very possible.
Yeah.
So if you're hiring for that middle wave of baristas, I would like to apply for that.
There you go.
He doesn't judge
Just
us.
DM me. Just send me a
He's
DM.
judging you right now.
And if somebody
I don't
wanted
judge.
to DM you, what is your social media page?
Just bakery.4 is the bakery's Instagram. That's the best way to hit me up.
All right,
for
so
sure.
We've done enough of this, right? We can talk about him now. Let's make fun of him.
Yeah. I mean, like Great Pastries about to open a new spot, and it's supposed to open in October. You say?
Yeah. So final inspections are second half of October. Yeah.
How much money do you bribe an inspections person to pass?
I don't have any money to give anybody at this point. No.
So do you cup the ball? You cup the balls?
Yeah,
So Jimmers,
they just reach arounds and cuppings.
Make sure you cup the balls.
Yeah.
That scores mega points. That's the difference between a B plus and an A.
Yeah.
And nobody ever flaunts their B plus health score. You know, you got to get that A.
Yeah.
So do the extra work.
I'll
Every
try.
teacher always said that. And they also said that you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket walking around growing up. So learn your times tables. All right,
You're throwing out some randos today.
Yeah.
You're on another level.
I'm very high. Shout out to our friends. This is from a Golden State out there in California. We're smoking on the wood sativa, so the brain is firing on different cylinders. But I do know that it's firing enough to ask him bread-themed questions for our next segment. So since you're a bread guy, I kind of consider myself a bread guy as well. I want to know what you consider some of your colleagues in our industry here in Denver, who some of your favorites are. And so while we usually ask for favorite happy hours and date nights, no, I don't want that shit. I want your best biscuit. Who has the best biscuit in Denver?
Oh, jeez. Unfortunately, I don't get out a whole lot, and that's that's not a cop out.
You got to know what your competition's doing.
But
did you not sample the fare before you got into the
No.
game?
No.
Bullshit. You weren't like, oh, somebody else is doing something different, but it's very successful.
And when you're doing something so much, you can just see pictures of it and be like, that isn't what I want. That's the opposite of what I'm doing, or that's not on the same lines as what I'm doing. So just taking the landscape, it becomes a little bit easier to kind of navigate what you want to do and what you can do in the market. That's honestly, over the last year, it seems like, because of the pandemic, the amount of cottage food places and bakeries in general have just shot through the roof. And you touched on it earlier. You asked if the pandemic was good for us or not, or good for me.
No, I wasn't saying that. I just didn't know if it kind of helped you along. Did you create some of these recipes and such?
Yeah.
And I probably cut you off from answering.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But the pandemic thing, it's interesting because a lot of people who wanted to bake could have started baking because it was easy to do it from your house. And even though some stuff was a little bit harder to get a hold of, like yeast and flour or whatever. But also it made people realize how hard it is to do what we do and how much time goes into it. So I think people appreciated it more. And then also it normalized lines and waiting. People before probably wouldn't have been like, I don't want to wait in line. But then it's like you're waiting in line no matter where you go. So it kind of normalized that queue and that wait time for pretty much all food in general.
I love the usage of queue, and in lieu of using lines.
Yeah.
It's so not American that and it's such an easy one, and I know how to spell it. I'm on board on that one. But you are right. It makes you appreciate. You're like, well, shit, this is tough. It took me 6 hours to bake this one goddamn loaf. I would, I could pay someone $10 for a loaf of bread, $12, and you appreciate that loaf of bread more because it's a bitch to fucking make, and especially at this altitude, your local neighborhood Instagram person knows how difficult it was.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's fine. You can cop out of the first question.
When it comes,
we'll ask you real happy hour questions.
But on that question of biscuits, do you dabble in the biscuit game?
Yeah, we've done biscuits,
like
for
buttermilk biscuits. Or are we talking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you didn't
Yeah.
think to enlist the Southerners in the community that know.
I'll tell you, if your
KGF.
buttermilk biscuits worth a damn.
I'll make some
And
very special.
I'm curious to know what sausage you would use to make a breakfast sandwich with. Like what kind of meat you would do.
River Bear.
River Bear.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
River
right.
Bear.
like those
River
guys.
Bear is the
River
shit.
Bear's-
Yeah.
He's got some. Justin, shout out to the crew. They're good people.
Yeah.
They got some good meats.
Their bacon and their breakfast sausage is just to die for.
So
and you can get that at Locavores.
Locavore, yeah.
Yeah, grocery store right there on 38th, just east of Federal. Good save by me.
Yeah.
So you did say you like, just real quick before we move on with some personal
ahead.
questions. You did say you kind of like more of the savory side. Are there? And I've seen like the ham and Gruyere and things like that. Are you going to do more like heartier kind of pastries at the new spot, or?
Yeah. So at this point, it's been tough because if we do one thing, we can't do another thing. So there are a few things that I always wanted to keep the same, that we always had, kind of like staples, and then we had a few things that we rotated in and out. But personally, I don't have a sweet tooth, so that's kind of where you asked me before where like I get my ideas from, and I just try to find like just a balance of flavors in everything. So nothing's too sweet, but also you have to find like you got to add some stuff to make it a little bit brighter. You have to add something to have like a bitterness. But the cool thing is that with sourdough, it naturally has a lot of those things. It's sweet, it's sour, it's bitter, and it has all that in it, which is why sourdough bread is so fucking good.
So good.
And you can eat it with anything. And so the pastries is the same thing. If it tastes good by itself and I put it in a pastry, it's just going to taste better. You know what I mean? So
Nice.
there we go.
That's great.
It's a simplified way of looking at how we're kind of building stuff.
Yeah, we use that method too. If it tastes good this way, think about it on good bread.
Yeah.
And then high. Or get high and you kind of mentioned it when you were talking about it. I was like, well, you kind of get high and play around in the kitchen or watch a little YouTube or Food Network. Like you see someone on Chopped, and you're like, shit, that does kind of look good.
Chef's
and
Table.
They only did it in 25 minutes.
Yeah, Chef's Table. If you get high and watch Chef's Table, you're gonna go down a rabbit hole of
it is
like crazy shit.
I love the competitive ones, and I know that's not what cooking's supposed to be. But watching them like do things under pressure, I'm like, yeah, get them. I love it. I don't. But that's where the inspiration comes from. It's like, dabble in creativity and craziness.
Yeah.
What's the craziest pastry you've ever made?
Ooh, there you go.
Oh man. I don't know. That's a tough question.
You don't know?
That is a tough question. You're a regular Barbara.
Yeah.
That's a Barbara.
Stump me.
What have you failed so many times? You're now its bitch. Is there a bread you can't get? This altitude poses threats.
Not really bread, but I mean like
anything.
Yeah, I don't mess with cakes and stuff like that. That decorating, I can't. No, there's no way.
Oh, have you not watched the Great British Bake Off?
I have, yeah.
Oh, you got to work on your piping skills.
I know, I need
dude.
to.
I can't wait for them to come back. I know Paul's a piece of shit, but I love the show.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
But I just can't. I don't have the patience to deal with. Which is funny because like the baking is all about patience,
right?
Especially when fermentation. But honestly, I can't just like sit there and just like pipe really small lines, and I don't really have a steady hand either, so it makes it tough. But.
What's your dream breakfast sandwich, or breakfast, sandwich or baked good?
This like guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit from McDonald's.
There we go. I knew he had one of those in him. And
Molly just asked that question the other day. Molly from Westward, and I sent her that DM.
I love that girl. Yeah. She's a fucking hoot. Man.
I was like, that's the sandwich. That's the one.
See, I don't go to. I never.
I'm glad that we're asking the same question. So for those that don't know, Molly is the food and beverage editor over at the Denver Westward, and she is a fantastic person.
Yeah.
I actually got to hang out with her recently as well. She's just awesome
Yeah.
in all capacities. So go check out her work at westward.com, denverwestward.com.
All right, so
She's
more
much ahead of us in this game.
more back to the personal question. So now
Yeah.
that you have this kind of quote unquote leisure time, what's your happy hour hang right now as we head toward the end of the summer?
Yeah, what time do you get off
Yeah.
work?
So
Well, you're off right now.
yeah, so typically like when we were
He showed up early.
yeah,
He
I'm
was like,
off.
I'll drink with you this afternoon. I was like, all right.
I'm off for about a month. Yeah,
Yeah, no
wide
shit.
Yeah,
open.
you got to catch a couple happy hours.
You need to get out of the country before we
Yeah.
get cut off.
Right. Oh, we're going to Mexico next week.
Uh,
That's my happy hour spot. Is sitting at a resort,
Whereabouts?
getting
in
drinks
Mexico?
brought to me.
What the fuck are you talking about? I
Cancun.
brought you this fine
Yeah,
wine from Joy Wine and Spirit.
This is it. You brought it to me.
Quite literally.
Cancun is we're going to.
Okay,
Yeah,
total
just an
beach.
all inclusive. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Just time to relax.
But where around town do we hit up happy hour?
That's same thing. I don't really get out. I need to get out more,
What do
and
you
the
call
the
home?
problem
What's
is
your-
that
Are you still in Sloan's?
we're in Highlands. Yeah.
That's
West
what-
Highlands.
That's
Yeah.
what I call that all Sloan's.
But the problem is that when we moved here, it was September. We didn't have a car, and then 5 months later, the pandemic started, so pretty much everything was closed. But I mean, like margaritas at El Camino are always a hit, just for like something quick. But we're early to bed, early to rise. Like even when we're
I
not.
can see that.
Yeah, I mean we're up at 5, even when we're not working.
Yeah.
So just to go to the gym and get shit done.
What's a?
So I guess the
well
last time
then,
you did cocaine question is kind of a question.
what's where's been one of your favorite like date night spots? Because you've obviously had to
Yeah.
go out to eat somewhere
Who
in
has
this
the
fucking
best
town.
early bird special?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the best of 4 p.m. dinner. No, I mean we were going to F&G, which like you said is Troy Guard's spot, pretty much weekly, and that was just because it was right around the corner from our house. But we went to David. Shout out to David at Right Cream.
Yeah.
Invited my wife and I out to Bordeaux, and AJ treated us to just like a fucking best dinner that I've had in years.
And that guy's also killing the sandwich game.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna have to open a
He-
real like brick and mortar.
I tried to. Yeah,
Did
he
you
just
try
did
to
a
give him-
pop up.
Yeah, he just did one in your
yeah,
shop, huh?
Yeah. So
And Chef David is a wizard for those. I think everybody knows Right Cream is the bee's knees of ice creams.
Yeah.
Especially in the Denver community.
yeah.
But I mean, yeah, Bordeaux will slap.
Yeah.
And they have a killer happy hour too for those that. And as you listen to this, they have a burger tiki fest. They have a patio vibe going on out there right now too. So
Nice.
new menu, decorated location. We got an answer out of him.
Yeah,
I
thank
like
God.
So I'm scared to ask if he likes music. I don't know. I
I
had
listen-
a bunch
I
of
listen to
bread
music.
questions, but he doesn't go out to eat. He just breads. He just does. I
Just
thought
do
I liked
breads.
bread.
I will say.
Do you have a sandwich that you love the bread here in Denver? Like sandwiches are predicated on bread. Do you have a sandwich here?
I mean, my go-to
It's
if
gonna be like
so-
homemade sourdough.
no, definitely
cured meats.
not. My problem is that I love to like pub grub. I mean, because we're from New York and that's just like what we had up there. But Fire in the Mountain, just like
yeah.
classic
What's your
buffalo
sauce?
chicken sandwich,
Okay.
raspberry habanero all the way.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a spicy chicken or spicy peanut guy.
That's
myself.
what a lot of people.
Dude, it's
dabble
Spicy
with
so
peanuts
spicy
are
good.
peanut.
damn
Yeah.
good.
I love it on a salad. I mean, I know that's
Yeah.
not necessarily like kosher or whatever, but it's fucking
Yeah.
delicious.
Everything at Fire in the Mountain. I've never had anything that disappointed me. So
All right. Yeah, he saves himself, Chris.
Yeah.
He saved himself. Well, the good thing for you is that as we approach the Stone d'Appetit question of the week, it reminds me I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Seton Smith. I cut into the conversation like 6 to 8 times today, and that's because I'm high as shit. And
Seriously.
Yeah, whoops. Yeah, it happens a lot. But shout out to our friends over there. They have an award-winning pen. They have cartridges going for discount prices across the board, but they have locations now in Louisville, 1413 Hecla Way, but they also have their original location on Oakland Street out in Commerce City. So don't be shy to hit them up at either of those, or check out their website, sedensmith.com, to see where you can find their products in the metro and across the state.
Yes.
Nice. Let's
That was a
rock
good
it.
ad read.
Thank you. That was one of my better ones.
Are we already hitting up the Stone Appetit question?
I mean, we're at 40.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're talking with cool people.
Yeah.
But
But I was going to go so deep into bread
Right.
that He says he doesn't even sample his competition.
So I will say, the best that I've had is Raleigh Street Baker, which can be hard to get your hands on as well. But we tried it when we were visiting.
Yeah.
We hit him up at Union Station
at
the farmers market.
Yeah, that's our